What if I told you that the most perfect, golden temple in Japan isn't ancient, and that the original was burned to the ground by a young monk who wanted to destroy its beauty forever? Imagine a place so serene, so breathtakingly beautiful, that it seems to float above its own reflection. A pavilion covered in pure gold leaf, set between a still pond and dark green pines. This is Kinkaku-ji, the Golden Pavilion, one of the most iconic sights in Japan. Millions visit every year, drawn by its shimmering perfection. But what they see is an illusion. Because the real story of Kinkaku-ji isn't about beauty. It's about obsession, destruction, and a shocking act of arson that forced Japan to confront a difficult question. Can you ever truly rebuild what's been lost? Let's peel back the gold leaf and uncover the truth. The Golden Pavilion wasn't always a temple. It began in the 14th century as a villa for a powerful shogun, Ashikaga Yoshimitsu. After a life of political battles and intense pressure, he retired here, seeking peace. He built a modest retreat surrounded by gardens designed to mirror paradise itself. At its heart stood his relaxation pavilion, a place for tea ceremonies, meditation, and quiet contemplation. It was elegant, but it wasn't yet golden. When Yoshimitsu died, his son transformed the villa into a Zen temple, fulfilling his father's final wish. The pavilion was given a sacred purpose, a symbol of the pure land of Buddha in this world. Over centuries, it became a place of pilgrimage, but its golden appearance, that came much later. In fact, for most of its early life, it was simply a beautiful wooden structure overlooking the water. So how did it become the glittering symbol we know today? The transformation happened slowly. Gold leaf was applied to the upper floors over time, reflecting a deeper philosophy. The building was meant to merge heaven and earth, with the gold capturing and scattering light in a dance with the pond below. It wasn't just decoration. It was a meditation on impermanence and beauty. For generations, the pavilion stood as a quiet witness to history. Wars, fires, and political upheavals swept across Kyoto, but Kinkaku-ji remained untouched, a timeless emblem of harmony. Then, on a cold morning in July 1950, everything changed. A young novice monk named Hayashi Yoken, who lived and trained at the temple, was seen acting strangely. He later confessed that he'd become obsessed with the pavilion's beauty, but not in the way you'd expect. To him, the perfection of Kinkaku-ji was a torment. It was so flawless, so unreachable, that it made his own life and spiritual failings seem ugly and insignificant. He felt the pavilion was judging him. In a state of deep psychological turmoil, he decided that the only way to free himself and the world from this unbearable beauty was to destroy it. He gathered hay and charcoal, spread them through the first floor, and set the temple ablaze. Then he sat on a hill nearby and attempted to take his own life. He survived. The pavilion did not. In just a few hours, 6 centuries of history were reduced to ashes. The nation was stunned. How could a guardian of the temple become its destroyer? The incident forced Japan to confront the fragility of its cultural heritage and the complex relationship between beauty and madness. The young monk was arrested and later sentenced. When asked why he did it, he reportedly said, "I hated beauty." His act was seen as a rebellion against perfection itself. For years, the site was a ruin, a charred foundation where a golden dream once stood. Many believed Kinkaku-ji was gone forever. But then an unexpected movement began. A national debate erupted. Should they rebuild, or should they leave the space empty as a memorial to loss, rebuilding one? But this was not a simple restoration. It was a reimagining starting in 1955. A team of the finest architects, historians, and craftsmen began a project that would take years. They used ancient techniques and modern technology. They studied paintings, photographs, and diaries to capture the original design. But they also made a crucial change. The new Kinkaku-ji would be covered in gold leaf, not just on the upper floors, but thicker and more completely than before. It was a statement. We will not hide from beauty, even after it has been violently taken from us. The reconstruction was an act of defiance, not just against one man's destructive act, but against the very idea of permanent loss. When the new Golden Pavilion opened in 1958, it was more radiant, more golden than the original. It wasn't a replica, it was a symbol of resilience. A declaration that some things are so important to the human spirit that they must be reborn today. When you visit Kinkaku-ji, you're not seeing a 600-year-old relic. You're seeing a 20th century rebirth, a phoenix risen from ashes, wrapped in gold. And perhaps that's the real lesson of this place. Its beauty isn't in its age or its perfection, but in its story of loss and renewal. The gold shimmers not because it's ancient, but because it represents a choice to rebuild, to remember, and to find meaning even in the ashes. Have you ever visited a place that looked perfect on the surface but held a hidden, darker story? Share your experience in the comments. I'd love to hear which destinations surprised you the most.